Hi, folks. I hope you're well. So, yes, recently I've been going against this cheering on of the England women's football team. Because, again, they've won an international competition, the Euros, beating Spain in the final on penalties. Yeah. The problem is, you get people now saying, well, they've done what the men can't do because they've got something the men haven't got, that's bottle. Yeah. No. Completely stupid. It is absolutely stupid. In women's football, they have 6 countries in the world that have professional leagues for women's football. Right? So, in those tournaments for women's international football, most of those teams aren't even professional. They can't really be if their country doesn't have professional leagues in their country, because most of the people in that country don't really play football. So therefore, well, the women don't. But for men, there's over 200 countries that have professional leagues. So therefore, obviously, it is harder for the English men to win than it is for the English women to win. Obviously. Also, yeah, for the men, yeah, there have been so many amazing country football teams. Yeah, since 1966. Brazil, Holland, Germany, France, Spain. Yeah, the French team in the 90s was absolutely brilliant. The Spain team in the last, from basically 2012 to 2020. Yeah. For 8 years, the Spain team has been absolutely brilliant. Okay. For the women's one, they've only got 6 that are proved. Yeah. Sorry. It's silly. It is silly. And when they're saying they're better than the men, oh, no. It's a stupid left wing people saying that crap. And it is crap. Absolutely crap. And a lot of people are getting annoyed about it now because they know it's not true. Well, because with the women, okay, in England, they got the basically top league for the women, and I think they got 2 leagues for the women. Only 2 leagues. So basically, Man United women's team, did they earn to get to the top one? No. They didn't earn that. The men had to earn. The women didn't have to earn at all. So therefore, come on. As I say, even winning the international thing, are you really earning it? No, not really. Not really, because yeah, if you're still bad and you can still win, really? That doesn't work for the men at all. Yeah. But I say, even for the men, there's fear for the men because, again, for years and years and years, they haven't won anything. So therefore, they know the country is looking to them to win. Is that the same for the women? No. No. And right now, oh God, for years and years and years, yeah. They've been doing this crap for years now. Yeah, saying, yeah, we need more women in the top jobs. No. There's a good reason that most of the top jobs, there's no women there. And there hasn't been for most of the time. Because for most of the time, women were actually telling the men it's a job for the men to work to get money for the family. And the job for the women is taking care of the kids and the home. It was women telling us and the women that was the situation. So therefore, most of the women who actually were working, did they want to work for 60 hours or 70 hours each week to have the top jobs? Most of them said no. Even when they were older, they were saying, sod that. No. We want a life. But men, they've been told for all that time, it's up to them to lead. It's up to them to do those jobs. Okay. You can't blame men for that. But they do. It's so stupid. But, you know, and they're doing it, they say in the voting time, they want only women to be in the thing to vote in the area. Okay. Is that sexist? Well, it is, but they're saying it's positive sexist. So therefore, that's okay. It's positive because it's helping women. Excuse me, do we need the best people? Then shut up. Oh, I would love to talk to someone who's a really left-wing feminist to know what they really believe and know if anything they believe is actually true. Because most of the crap they've been talking about for the last, 20 years has been a lie. All of it has been a lie. So now, so when I hear that the women actually won, I'm thinking, oh my God, again? First of all, who cares? I mean, they're going to have all that crap that men would do when they win. But come on. They've got the English leagues for women. For the men's, they've got how many leagues for men? Bloody hell. I don't know. For the pro ones, I think there's about 6 leagues. I think there's about 6 leagues at least, maybe 7 or 8. For the women, there's only 2. Yeah. Oh, it really annoyed me as well. One of the women who does the talk sport thing. They were annoyed with Sir Jim, he owns a bit of Man United, and he met a woman who used to be the captain when she was playing of the women's team, and he didn't know who she was, right? And they were so annoyed, saying he should know who she is. Why? Basically, when you look at it, the women's team only gives United about, nearly 2% of the money that they have. The men, it's about 60% from the men's team. For the women's team, it's 2%. So why should you give a crap? If you own the club, why should you give a crap about the one that only gives you 2% of the money? Because obviously, if the men's team, makes 60% of the money, and the football team there is really crap, then obviously you need to care about that to make it better, because obviously you get more money from that team, right? If you need more money, which team would you try to make better? The women's? No. The men. Because the men make more money every year. If you want to wait for the women to make the same sort of money, it'd be about, 20 years' time? So therefore, for them to be equal about how much money they get for the club, it'd be years and years and years and years. So why was that woman so offended that the new person who owned a little bit of United didn't know that woman? I wouldn't know that woman. If I met that woman, even though I've been supporting that team for years and years and years, I know all the men that have been playing, but the women, I don't know really any of the women who've been playing for United, because I don't care. I don't watch women's football. I don't care about it, because I know the level. Well, I've said before, years ago, when I was in Dorset, brain isn't working, sorry, it's like, I went to a shop that was selling sports stuff. And I was talking to a woman there, and she said she was playing football. I said, okay, do you have a team? She said, yeah. I said, okay, if you want, I can get a team. We can play against you if you want. She said, oh yeah, that'd be brilliant, because we are really good, so we will probably beat you. I said, okay, we don't care. We really don't care. So they had a team that were playing together for about a year at least. And okay, I put a team together that has never actually played together. 11 people. No. And we absolutely thrashed them. Absolutely thrashed them. After a few minutes, I was thinking, it's so bloody easy. How is it so easy? They're playing all the time. We're not. We don't play each week. We certainly don't play together. So do we understand each other and what the other players here, what they do and what they need? When I've got the ball, what are they going to do? I don't know. We've never actually played together. They know. They should know the strengths and the weakness of their players. Did we know? No. But we still thrashed them. It was easy. Now, a lot of people say, oh, the problem is men are stronger and faster. Not really, no. No. Okay. Yeah. The faster men are faster than the faster women. Yes. But of course, there's a lot of women who are faster than me. There's a lot of women who are stronger than me. So why could those women not be faster or stronger than we were? It could have been, if they trained. But again, for football, it's not about being stronger or faster. The best football that I saw, well, when I was older in Bournemouth, that area, we had something with 6 players against another team. It was only 6 against 6, and I was in charge of one of the teams, and the players I picked, I just said to them, okay, when you get the ball, don't try to dribble and go past players. Not yet. Know where your other players are. As soon as you get the ball, pass to one of your players, and then go in the space. Right? You know where the space is before you get the ball. Know where your other players are. Pass the ball to your other player, and then go into a space to help them so they can pass to you. Yeah? Just do that. Make it simple. And we won every game. It was blinking easy. It wasn't hard at all. We didn't need to be fast. We didn't need to be strong. All we need to do is control the ball, pass the ball, and use your mind. Yeah, thinking. And then, after a while, the other team was getting knackered because they were running around all the time trying to get the ball and they couldn't. Yeah, because we were good enough to pass the ball straight away with one touch. It was easy. I can do it. I can still do it now with one touch. I'm now, 56? Oh yeah, that's the point. I'm 56 today. Yeah. I only realised about 4 o'clock, PM, that it is my birthday. I thought, okay, yeah, do I have any cake that we can have, me and my doggies? And we had small cakes, so I said, we can have that. That's good enough. Yeah. But I said, even now I can do that. With one touch, I can pass quite easily. So therefore, we learned to do that. So could those women do that against a team of men that have never played together? Yeah. But again, they thought they were good enough. They thought that because they've been playing together for a long time, it meant they should actually beat us. But the problem is, most of them couldn't really control the ball. They couldn't really pass the ball. They couldn't understand how to defend or anything. So, yeah, as I say, it's... And, you know, when I watch, if I've ever watched any women playing football, it's the same. If it's England, if it's Man United, if it's Liverpool, Chelsea, whoever, it's the same. When I watch them, I think, oh dear. Oh dear. Well, basically, the top teams... Okay. In any area, you've got the Sunday League. There's not pros at all. You know, it's just normal people that, you know, can play a bit of football, but that's it. But in those Sunday leagues, you've got probably about 6 or 7 leagues. Yeah, the lowest one is the worst teams, and the highest one is the better teams. I will actually bet that most of the teams in any of those areas in the Sunday League, most of those teams in the top league, in the top half of the top league, could beat the English women's team. Oh yeah. Even though the English women's teams have got a proper, well, they've got a lot of proper coaches. They've got proper areas to train in. They've got medical people to help them. And they've got all that stuff to be fitter and stronger than the men have, because most of those men in a Sunday team, they work during the week. They don't really train. You know, they only play football and touch a football on Sunday. So therefore, but yeah, I bet they can. And it's not because they're stronger at all. Technically, the men will be better than the women. And as I say, the reason why is because for the men, it's so much harder to be in a team, especially in a top team of a league. It's so much harder because there's so many more men playing. So when you're kids, for people to actually see you, well, okay, when you're a kid, right, you have that situation when there's 2 captains and they each pick someone, right? You don't want to be the last person that they pick, because it means no one actually really wants you. Yeah? So therefore, what you want is to be picked early. So therefore, what you do as a kid, you train. You want to know how to control the ball. You want to know how to pass. You want to know how to see where everyone is, and basically have more time when you get the ball. So all of that, you train to do that. So then, when you're playing football, you do that. Well, for me and my friend Andy, we used to actually also trained to be the goalkeeper, just in case. Just in case we were playing a game and the goalkeeper couldn't play. Yeah, because then we could be the first person that they actually choose, because we can play as a goalkeeper, as a defender, as a midfielder, or as a forward. I don't think most of the women who are pro players has ever trained to do that. I don't think most of them have, because they didn't need to. They were given the league. And as I said, with Man United, as soon as they said we've got a women's team, basically, it was so easy for them to go into the top league. It took about 1 year. That team was created, and after about 1 year after it was created, they were in the top league. Try doing that with a men's team. Wrexham are now doing something like that. Even though Wrexham was created years and 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 years ago, but since the actor, two of the actors bought that team, and that team has so much more money now, they can buy better players. So therefore, they're going higher. They will be probably in the Prem pretty soon. But people know that's blinking amazing, because that hardly ever happens. Hardly ever happens. It is blinking hard for teams to get in the Prem. Really hard. And to stay in the Prem is really blinking hard. Not for the women, though. And that's the point. The standards, as I said, I wouldn't care if people weren't overlifting the women. I wouldn't care at all. I wouldn't care at all about the situation. The only reason why I care about the situation is because, for over 20 years now, they've been doing this crap. Supporting women and saying they want to be equal. But really what they want is to be more than equal. And I don't like that lies. Those are lies. I don't like any of that crap at all. Because again, when they said that crap, believe all women, as I said, believe all women was basically saying no more proof is needed. If we say that man raped me, then that man should go to prison because I said he did it. Because women don't lie. Believe all women was saying no more proof, women don't lie, men are liars. And it's like, no. None of that is true. Proof, evidence has to be required for a prosecution. Saying, because in the past they wanted evidence when a woman said that man did something, even if he did, if there was no evidence, they couldn't do anything about it, right? Now, can we understand that people think that's wrong? Yeah, of course we do. Of course, we understand that if a man rapes a woman, that man should be going to prison because the law says you can't do that. Right? But the problem is with that sort of situation, certainly for years and years and years and years and years, that it was very difficult to prove it. And the law says without proof, when they said believable women, they said that should change. No proof is needed. Because a woman is saying it, no woman will ever lie about that. But excuse me, yes, they would. Yes, they would. Men and women. Men have lied. Well, men have claimed, definitely claimed, same as women, both men and women have claimed that the opposite sex have got them drunk in order to have sex with them. Technically rape. Right? When they've woken up next to someone who their understanding was, I would never have sex with this person. Never. And then they wake up next to that person. They think, obviously, I didn't want to do this. Obviously, I would have said no if I had a chance. But actually, that's the point. When people are drunk, they make mistakes. If both parties are drunk, can you say that one of them is using their position and taking advantage of the other person being drunk? No. But women will claim that because it suits their position now of believable women. But again, it's nonsense. But there you go. We are where we are. But because we've had this for a long time, yeah, when I hear it with regards to women's football, no, I'm sorry. I know that the standard is a lot lower, and sometimes it just gets on my nerves so much that I point that out. And recently that's been the case. I've just pointed it out because when they're sort of trying to abuse the men's team and comparing what the men's team and the women's team have done, it's an unfair comparison, to say the least. So you take care. God bless. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.